My name is Chrissy, and welcome to our Career Readiness Forum. I don't want to go to college. It's co-sponsored tonight by the Potomac Graduate Chapter of Swing by Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated.
And the Northern Maryland Graduate Chapter of Groove 5 Groove Social Fellowship Incorporated. My name is Ryan Mason. Tonight we'll discuss successful careers you can achieve without a college degree. Some training you must do. You must complete some training, but a 4-year degree is not required to get started. We are monitoring the chat, so if you have a specific question for one of our panelists, please write it in the chat. We will do our best to get to it.
So let's bring in our first guest, who is Mr. Rocco Baldino. Good evening, Rocco. We thank you so much for coming on tonight. Now, I love your career specifically because you have the cutest partner to hang out with. So tell me about what you decide to pursue the career in
So I got started in fire department when I was 14. I happened to live behind a volunteer fire station in New York, and I got my start just involved in the fire departments. And I just knew from then, going into high school, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to be in the fire department, be a service employee, and been here ever since. It's been 30 years now. I've been involved in the fire Readiness.
So this job requires a lot of strength to be a firefighter. So what is the training like to become a firefighter? Can you start right after high school?
Yeah, so like I said, I started at 14. I was doing CPR. I had EMT training. I was doing a lot of physical stuff, wearing the air bottles, doing the hose trainings. 18, I turned, was able to go inside the structures and start doing interior firefighter training. They put you through, firefighter 1, which is an accredited class, and it's like 6 months at that time. But now, like when you go train, like you get hired through like a career fire department city, it's typically trains about 4 to 5 months. Pretty rigorous, depending where you go. BC, it's a training academy, so all of our trainings are like pure military. It's not military, but it's kind of streamed that way. So there's organization, there's leadership. You got to follow the orders. You go together as a class, form bonds. You get to work together, overcome the tasks. Do things as groups. You get to work together, which is great. You build that teamwork and camaraderie amongst each other. I still am friends with a lot of my classmates from BC now for 16 years. And then I got guys going back to my early start in the 90s when I was in New York State.
So your current position, what does that entail? Because you're not a firefighter anymore, per se. So what's your current position now?
So currently I'm an armed fire investigator, which means after the fire's out, at a house fire or a structure fire, we investigate how it started, where it started. Someone's responsible for setting the fire, then we have to investigate that and see if there's a legal, pretty much arrest somebody. We are police powers, we go through the same training that the police officers go through. So on top of firefighter training for 4 or 5 months, there's a process to get into this position. You have to apply for it, you take a test. And then you have to meet with the panel interview, and there's a process, a whole process to get into this step. That's 2017 I got into this position, and it's done. Last year I was graduated from Police Academy, and I was 42 years old, so it was a bit of a challenge going into it. 6-7 months of training, and starting like a basic recruitment. And it was tough. It was a challenge. 6 months, having a career established already, and then having to go back to training again, and that aspect has been tough.
Wow. So 6-7 months of training, intense training. Now, Chrissy was telling me about this that you get to work with a Doug. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Like, do you get to choose it? Are they rescue dogs? And how do these dogs get their names?
So yeah, so currently, so my partners have two Larson canine dogs. They work. They can train detecting gasoline type stuff in fires. So their names they come from the ATF and State Farm usually are arson dogs. So they get picked. The trainers get set up with the dog that matches them. The agency whoever sponsor the dog are the ones that usually name the animals. So we have Blondie in our office and Vandal, yellow and black labs. So they're fully trained. They're working right now. I just got a dog. I'm also part of a thing called a peer support team. So anything crazy goes on, like a bad call or someone dies in a fire, more like a fire department personnel, someone fire department dies in a fire. It's called line of duty. That it's pretty significant for us. We know it can happen. We don't want that stuff to happen. When it does, they call out our support team, and so part of that is we have canines as well for that team. And so I have Sunny. He's a 6-month-old yellow lab, and he's just starting his training. He's just doing his puppy stuff right now. So he got named from the trainer, and he got assigned to me. He's a donation from a breeder in Arlington, Virginia. So he'll be coming on board here probably next 6 months to help out. So he goes out, he'll help out the firefighters and EMTs in the city.
Okay. Talk a little bit louder for me, Rocco, because we hear a lot of background noise. But what are the requirements? Are they the same for DC and Maryland firefighters?
Yeah, so like I said, the training is nationally accredited. So when you do firefighter 1, firefighter 2 training, that's all nationally accredited. So if you go to a training school, or you go to a college, or you go to a volunteer fire program out in Maryland, which I also am part of, you get that training, and you can take that training anywhere. So it's called National Certified Code Boarding. So I have training from New York that actually worked in Maryland and DC. I'd have to take it again. So it helps out if I got my start volunteering, and I got almost 25 years volunteering in Maryland. And so that helps me with getting free training, and that's a great start for people. Even kids, 14, 16, you can start volunteering and get into it. And you can have the training at 18, 19, and you'd be ready to jump into a career fire department right after that.
Nice. So you're saying you can get started as a volunteer and work your way up the ranks. So we definitely want to discuss like the promotion, and also how much can we make at some of those top positions as like a sergeant and a chief. What do those numbers look like?
So entry level for a firefighter, our cadet program, you see at the bottom there, that's open right now until June 2nd, June 9th, coming up. Cadets are at 30,000, and then when they get fully trained 1 year, they jump up to 55. And so our firefighters are about the 50, the paramedic range is about 55 to 60 starting out. And that's a shift work schedule. So you're doing 7, 8 days a month working a 24-hour shift. Sergeants are making anywhere from 85 to 90. Chiefs, if you're working way up to captains, lieutenants, and such like that, you're making anywhere from 100 to 150. And family fire chiefs, you're looking at that 150 to plus range. And then if you ever become like an assistant fire chief or a main fire chief, top fire chief, he's making close to upper 250, somewhere around there. So there's lots of potential. It's all how much you want to put into it. And you can start out really young, and you can work your way up in 25 years in the fire department. And you could become a chief officer, line officer, captain, lieutenant, and you'd be doing overtime. You could be making a significant amount of money. Need to know like educational background. You don't have to have that.
I feel like I need to switch careers after I'm hearing some of those salaries. But I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. what are some of the things that we should know to prevent fires in our home? And I know when I say that to a firefighter, I think back, they always talk about the frying of turkeys and how Thanksgiving is one of their biggest days. So,
Right.
what are some of those things before we let you go?
Sure. So some of the big things that I see a lot of, you see power strips, your surge protectors. So you see like air conditioners plugged into them, or you see space heaters, stuff like that plugged into these things. When you're in the office or at the house, and those things are not made typically very well, and so they draw a lot of energy. So those things will fail, and they will melt, and they start lots of fires for us in the city. And we see that almost every day where something overloads it. You got to pay attention. That plastic will melt and burn. It gets going pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for spending some time with us today. DC Fire Department is recruiting. And if you want more information, please visit the link on the screen. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you, Rocco.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we are now going to move on and go to our next guest, who is Toby.
Hey, hey,
Hi, Toby.
What's going on, bro?
can you hear me pretty well?
Yes,
All
we can
right.
see you.
Sorry if I look this way sometimes because you all are right here and the camera's right here. So,
No problem. Now, you have an interesting story because you do have a 4-year degree in the technology field,
I
and you
do.
are helping others get into that technology field without a degree. So, first, tell me about your degree and your path of creating your own school.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me here, you all. My name is Toby Owolabi. Just like Chrissy said, I do have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I got my bachelor's degree at Bowie State University, and funny enough, I'm not using it now. I'm actually a security architect. If you're not familiar with cybersecurity, IT, information technology, I'm actually in this field now, um, where I didn't need my degree to transition here. And I wish I knew that before. Well, it worked out eventually, but if I knew this beforehand, I probably would have never went to go get a bachelor's degree. All I needed to become a security architect or to get into cybersecurity or IT was a few certificates. Actually, one, right? I only needed one. And eventually I just started getting more as time went on. Um, but the degree doesn't hurt. However, we have high school students all the time who are transitioning into IT, transitioning into cybersecurity. They're working from home. They're making pretty good money, all because of a certificate.
Beautiful. So tell us a little more about this about your program, and like if you enroll in it, when I enroll in there, what am I going to leave with in regards to like a certificate or training for a certificate, and also what type of knowledge base am I looking at leaving the program with?
All right, a little bit about the program. It is called O-Line Security. I actually founded O-Line Security back in June 2016. Okay, this program, it's a virtual academy that is taking people who have zero to no experience with computers, specifically IT, but you have zero to no experience, and it's a 10-week academy, and we're teaching you the hands-on skills, the hands-on technical abilities that employers are looking for to solve problems. All right, now the my favorite part about this 10-week program is the career development aspect. Okay, O-Line Security, we're partnered with a variety of different recruiters all across the nation. I think our biggest partnership right now may still be Tech Systems. We're partnered with Tech Systems, Deloitte, Jopwell. Uh, there's a bunch of other names out there, some private companies that we're partnered with this as well. Now that's my favorite part because most people, you don't just want to get the certificate, right? And I'll talk a little bit more about the certificate. Still on my favorite part. Most people don't just want the certificate, they want to get a job, right? And our partners that we're partnering with, the recruiters, they're taking you from the class, especially the high school students, and they're helping you brush up on your resume, help you with your interview skills so that you can land employment opportunities with these employers, Deloitte, Leidos, Lockheed Martin, Booz Allen, Raytheon, all these different employers. So that's the best part about it, right? It's not just a 10-week academy to teach you the skills and to waste your time, right? We're teaching you the hands-on skills, and then we take your package, let's just say your application, put a ribbon on it, give it to the recruiters, and then the recruiters take it, look at the skill that you've learned, help you articulate what you know how to do, so you can make yourself market ready. That means just make yourself ready for employers, and help you until you reach that finish line to get a job. Now, this one certificate that I even got years ago, that everybody's using now to get into the field with no degrees, is called Security Plus, right? This is created by an organization called CompTIA, who we are also partnered with, which is why we're able to teach the course. But it's a very in-demand certificate, probably top 3 certificates right now for new people trying to transition into cybersecurity or IT. And it can be pretty difficult to learn on your own if you don't have any experience, which is another cool thing about the class, because we make it simple, right? We have high school students who are coming into our course all the time and getting jobs, even without the certificate, right? But the certificate always looks better, right? Some high school students, once they get a job, they don't want to go back for the certificate. And I'm not mad at them, right? They accomplished their goal. But it is called the Security Plus. Please look it up. Don't take my word for it. It is definitely one of the top 3 in-demand certificates in our industry. And that industry is IT cybersecurity.
Now, how much you talked about, I didn't need to know much about computers. Exactly how much computer knowledge does someone need to know to get into this? Do they need to be like good at math or good at science, or how much do I need to know coming in?
You need to know nothing, like literally nothing. Most of our students have no experience whatsoever. We've had, besides the high schoolers, we've had football players, real estate agents, nurses, pharmacists, teachers. You literally have to know nothing, because the way the course is structured, we're going to break everything down, right? IT is big. There's a lot of things in IT that you can do. There are a lot of things in cybersecurity that you can do. Our job is to break it down into a kindergarten level, right? Not because anybody can't. Some people aren't smart enough. It's just easier to learn it that way. This is why most people are able to come out of our course and start configuring firewalls. They're able to come out of our course and start managing certificates. They're starting to build out architecture, right? And articulating these things, not just crossing check boxes off of a piece of paper. They are articulating these. And we have our students all over YouTube, all over our website, who are talking about this. You can hear them talk about this, right? And if you listen to them, it sounds like they've been doing this for a very long time, and they haven't, right? They literally been doing it for only 10 weeks. Yeah, but you don't need any experience at all. That is our job, to instill those skills and build you up from wherever you are, within those 10 weeks. And before I forget, I keep saying 10 weeks because the academy is 10 weeks long, but you're with O-Line Security for 9 months. Okay, the hands-on training is 10 weeks, but some people need a little bit more time to get a job, right? On average, our students are getting hired within 2 to 3 months, but you're with us for 9 months. Some people have life issues that happen. They need to take a break. Some people, everybody has different circumstances. But yes, the course is 10 weeks, but you are with O-Line Security for 9 months, and we are going to be with you every single step of the way until you accomplish the goal you want. Not what we want. We want you to get a job, but whatever you have in mind.
Yeah, that's dope. That's a great segue into the next point. So coming out of O-Line Security, you mentioned some of these these top companies. And just a reminder, please put questions and comments in the into the chats. We are monitoring them, so we can ask those specific questions. But you mentioned some of the names of these companies, and when you're setting students up to come out of this program prepared to even interview with these companies and get themselves ready to have that conversation. So what type of money are they coming at the table, and then how does that ladder look? As they're looking to climb, as they're talking to these different companies and exact.
All right, that's a really good question. That's probably a very important question for some people, right? Money, especially if you're transitioning from a career where you have family, kids. I'll start with the average. On average, well, I'll start with our students. On average, our students are coming out between 76 to $84,000 a year salary. Okay. The most that a student has ever come out with, right? And I'm not asking students how much they make all the time. They just tell me, especially when they're making a lot of money. The most that the student has ever come out with is 106. And that's with no experience and the Security Plus, right? Remember, some people aren't getting Security Plus certified. That's not a guaranteed six-figure salary. And it takes work, right, to get that six-figure salary. I'm not saying it as if it's easy or everybody can do it. But on average, between 76 to 80, 85, $87,000, that's how much they are coming or bringing to the table, these employers, especially, and sorry, partners, I'm going to throw you out there, especially Deloitte. On average, their SOC analysts, entry-level SOC analysts, are getting between $76,000 to $87,000.
Now, you mentioned that you have high school students already taking your course, so you can definitely take this while you're still in high school to propel yourself kind of right after you graduate, that you can just kind of go right into a career, right?
Yep. We have, I think a lot of our high school students come from, and I'm name dropping. I shouldn't be name dropping, but a lot of our high school students are coming from Glen Burnie High School. They're seniors. I don't think we've had lower classes before, but most of them are seniors, graduating seniors, of course, and they don't want to go to college, right? A lot of them don't want to go to college, whether it's financial reasons or whatever it may be. But you can take this while you're in school. I would prefer you to take it over the summer, where you have more time to focus on it, because this is still a new language, right? Especially if you don't have any experience. It's going to be a new language. It's like learning French, Spanish. You're learning something new. So I would recommend that you take it when you have time, right? And some students can juggle, right? We've had a student who, he lives right across the street from me. He's a high school student. He's working remote now. He did it while he was in school. Some people can do it while they're in school. My recommendation, make sure you have a good amount of time, and make sure you're ready to study, because there is information to learn. We will challenge you just like we will be there to help you. But ultimately, it's going to come down on you just putting in the work. We have the resources. Some people call it cheat codes. We're not helping people cheat. Some people call it cheat codes because it's literally a map, right? You do this, and you see this outcome.
Excellent. So, you talked about with it being entry level, like you don't really need much information in order to jump in and get going. So, if two questions really, if someone is already in the field and they want to look to O-line security to advance their career, they hand some of these names that you're saying, or some of these certifications, and I also want you to give us some of the certifications that are top line, that we want to be looking for in the IT field. But someone who is maybe in the field already and they're like, I want to get down with what O-line security has going on and some of these other opportunities that you're talking about.
Yeah. So, and it's funny that you say that. I'll tell you why it's funny first, but we do have people. It's not just people who don't have any experience. We have people who have a lot of experience. And the reason I say it's funny, because one student in particular, her birthday's today, and we had just gave her a birthday shout out. She had experience. She came to O-line security to get the hands-on skills that she was missing. And before she finished her 10-week course, she had 2 offer letters. One of them she accepted was for an IT manager position. So we have resources for people who are already Security Plus certified, for people who don't know anything, for people who have experience. We've even had military folks take our course and leave great reviews, such as throughout their 8 years, and I'm quoting them, throughout their 8 years in the military, O-line Security's course was the best training that they ever had. And he was an IT engineer around that frame in the Army. But I can't name drop him. I can name drop the military branch though.
Gotcha. Now, real quick, can you, if you would mind, mentioning the cost of the course? And I know you said it's 10 weeks. Like, how intense is it? Like throughout the weeks. Is it a college course type load, or can you just say a bit about that? And then also,
Yeah,
you have the website on the screen as well, so you visit to get more information.
yeah, that's a really good question. I should have actually brought that up. So we have 2 versions of this class. We have a live version and an on-demand version. Which one I would recommend depends on your learning style, right? Some people need an instructor there, especially if this is new to you. Some people don't need an instructor. Now, the live class is Monday through Thursday, and that's 8:15 p.m. to 9:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Because we have people all over the world joining the class, but this is Eastern Standard Time. We also have extra study hall sessions on Saturday. That's from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Our cyber advisors run the study hall sessions. We also have study hall sessions Thursday nights from 9:45 p.m. to about 10:30, 10:45, depending on how much time the students need. And so that's the live class. The on-demand class is obviously going to be at your own pace. You can do it 24/7 if you want to. You could follow the same structure as we do in class, because you'll still be a part of the class even if you're in the on-demand course. You're just not going to be in the class, right? We use a communication app called Discord. Some people are familiar with it, some people aren't. It's like Slack, GroupMe, but it's really it helps us enhance the learning process with the on-demand students. Now, the on-demand course and the live course are 2 different prices. The on-demand course is $2,500, and it's 3 months longer. Well, it's 3 months, not 3 months longer. It's 3 months because you're on your own. We want to give you enough time to really soak up the material. The live course is $3,000. Now, the live course comes with payment plan opportunities if you do want to use them, right? The on-demand course doesn't, because essentially you're just taking that whenever you're ready to take it. But the live course does come with payment plan opportunities, and they are listed on the website, olinesecurity.com. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in regards to the payment plans or the classes. I'll try to leave an email or something here for you all to reach out if you have questions.
Okay. Well, thank you, Toby. If you have any further questions or would like more information on getting certified in cybersecurity, I hope you took note of his website, and you can definitely go there to visit. Thank you, Toby.
Thank you for having me, y'all. Y'all stay blessed. Have a good one.
Appreciate you, bro.
Now, our next guest is for all you students who want to be entrepreneurs and may not know what business to start. So I'm going to bring in Tommy Brown now, who owns 2 of his own businesses. Welcome, Tommy. I think there's a little lag with you, Tommy. Can you hear us?
Hello. Can y'all see me?
We can see you, but your connection's a little weak.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello, hello.
So we're going to let Tommy get his connection together, and we're going to move on to our next guest and bring him back a little bit later on. Let's bring in Brooke now. Brooke, we're going to bring you in, and hopefully your camera is on and ready to go. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Let's welcome Brooke, who's going to give us some information about becoming a real estate agent after high school. Welcome, Brooke.
Thank you. Thank you both for having me on. Super excited to talk to everyone about becoming a real estate agent. But I am Brooke, a real estate agent here in Maryland and in the Virginia area. And let's go ahead and get things started.
All right, Brooke. So, get us started with what kinds of real estate are you in? I know under your name it says Maryland and Virginia. Are you into commercial and residential?
So I actually am in the commercial space as a professional career person. But outside of that, I also do residential real estate as well as an entrepreneur for myself. So I do help people buy and sell and rent homes.
Nice, nice. Now, can you tell us a little bit about how can somebody coming out of high school get into this business?
So on the commercial real estate side, as far as being a working career professional, honestly, there's no experience required. A lot of these different real estate developers and companies such as Lincoln Property Company, Cushman and Wakefield, JLL, they will take individuals at an entry level basis, meaning you don't have to have any experience. A lot of the times they're just looking for somebody that knows how to file paperwork, knows how to do, things on the computer, which I believe all of our kids in high school nowadays definitely fit that criteria. But as far as on the residential side, becoming a real estate agent, there are some requirements. You do have to be at least 18 years or older. There is a 60-hour course that you have to take. We call it a pre-licensing course. This can actually be taken online now due to COVID. But as things are starting to open back up, the brokerages, the brokerages, they actually host their own classes. So those classes can range anywhere from, $300 to $1,000, depending on exactly what they're offering. Now, the base information for the classes offer, the 60 hours, but some may offer, what do we call them? Like the exam prep and different resources to help you actually pass the national and state portion. From there, you choose a broker, whether that be Long and Foster, Century 21, Keller Williams, Redfin, and even some other small brokerages that we have in the area. And then that's really it.
Now, you said that right after high school, they can start to take the classes because they need to be at least 18. But before that, do you suggest they do some type of like internship? Could they do the open houses? I think that's like a job that some people can do, is just do open houses. Can they do that before?
So technically, to do anything on the residential side of real estate, you do have to have a license. So showing properties, doing open houses, you do have to be licensed. However, you can, if you have a family member or maybe, your parent knows somebody that's a real estate agent, you can always, reach out to them and say, hey, can I shadow you, for X amount of time when you do open houses? Or when you are getting ready to draft an offer, or, you know, just going out to show properties, I absolutely recommend doing that so that you at least have some baseline knowledge of what it is that you're going to be doing and know the entire process of either helping someone buy a home or helping someone sell a home.
Nice. Now, another, I just want to make sure that we were clear. You said it was about 16 weeks for the class.
So 60 hours.
60 hours. I'm sorry. Okay.
So depending on how you decide to go about executing those 60 hours, if you do it online, once you sign up for the course, you typically have a year to complete it.
Okay.
Once you gain access, if you do it in person, there's different schedules that are out there. You can really be done with the 60 hours in 1 week. I think they offer maybe like Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 a.m., you know, with lunch break and other breaks in between. And then there's like night classes that are offered and things like that. So there are several different ways you can go about executing, completing the 60 hours.
Got you. And I also just wanted to ask, you know, I just recently purchased a home, and I had to go through some agent to get the right fit and to figure that out. And a big difference was the use of social media and how they were promoting. So if I'm thinking about real estate, I'm thinking about getting into real estate, and I'm also thinking about what are some things that I'm good at. How do you promote your business, and what are some things that others could do as they're getting into it to start looking at? I know there are lots of apps that are coming out and things of that nature. So can you speak on that?
Absolutely. So I promote my real estate business by content, and being able to give out as much free value as I possibly can to not just educate, you know, the community on things that they may not know about the process. And before I go any further, congratulations on the purchase of your home. That's a really big deal. But not just educating the community on different aspects of the process of buying and selling a home, but by me showing my audience, right, the community, that information, they can also see I'm personable, right? I know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. They can trust me to walk them through this process. A lot of the times, buying a home is the biggest purchase that somebody's going to make in their entire life. But not just social media, also offering home buyer seminars that I personally do, whether that be with a loan officer or with someone else that's working in my office, just so that I can continue to further reach individuals and help them gain knowledge on the process.
Now, one of my favorite shows is $1 Million Listing.
Yes, love
and
it.
On that show, you know, one of the good things about that show is they show how much commission they're going to make off this $3, $5 million, $10 million home. And the housing market is crazy right now. So it's almost like the average house price now is around $300,000.
Yes.
What does that commission look like to take home? I mean, some people may need some motivation. So how much money are you making selling one $300,000 home?
Okay, so I'll break down the math for you guys and kind of walk you through exactly how to calculate it. But one thing I will say before I get into that is that you will not see any part of your commission until your client has their keys. Okay, so keep that in mind. So let's just say a home is $300,000, and I'm actually going to do this while I talk through it. So you take $300,000, the typical commission for a buyer's agent right now is kind of low, 2.5. So you take that 300,000 times 2.5%, which gives you 7,500. Now that 7,500 is not what you get to keep, right? You have to break that 7,500 down you have to split that with your broker, right? So broker splits or broker commission splits can range from 50-50 to 60-40 to 70-30. Once you start producing more sales, they typically give you a better split, so you can get up to that 80-20 or that 90-10. So let's just say it's 70-30. So we take that 7,500 times 70%, and we get $5,250. So on the flip side, if that buyer's commission was a little bit higher, maybe 3%, which was the typical average prior to COVID, you would be looking at $6,300. So anywhere between $5,250 to $6,300.
Okay.
Nice. So is there a particular brokerage that you prefer? I know you said that it's about relationship building. And is there a reason why? I know you said that the commission is based on your relationships with the brokers and what they're offering.
So me personally, when I first got my license, I interviewed several different brokerage firms, and you can do that, right? To see who's going to give you the best commission split, out of the gate with no experience, who has, the best office appearance, continuing education classes, all of that matters, right? So for me, coming out the gate, Keller Williams was my first choice, just because as a brand new agent, not really having anybody that I could connect with in this area that was in the real estate industry. Keller Williams offered several continuing education courses, right, that you could take. They were online, some were in person, and it was all relative to what was happening in the market. So for me, Keller Williams was my choice. Like I said, I interviewed several other brokerage firms, but Keller Williams for me was the best fit.
Okay. Now, how do you get those $1 million listing homes? Is that networking, or is it based on the brokerage you're with? Because it seems like in this area, I seem to see like the higher listings are with certain brokerage. Is that how it kind of plays out?
So any brokerage can get any listing, but I do think it's all about your personal connections and networking. So obviously, the more people you know, the more people that are going to share your business with other people for you to get to that person, that wants to buy $1 million listing or wants to list $1 million home. So for me, I haven't personally had $1 million listing yet, but it's on the way. But I can definitely say being in the right room at the right time, connected to the right people, can definitely get you there.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brooke. Any other words or advice before we let you go?
All I would say is real estate is obviously a market that isn't going anywhere. People are always going to need somewhere to live. People are always going to need somewhere to house their businesses, their brick and mortar storefronts. So real estate, I believe, is a recession-proof type of career that you'll always be able to make money with. It's just like anything else. What you are willing to work will work for you.
Okay. Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Appreciate you.
All right. Now joining us, we will be adding Shoshana, who is a court reporter. Welcome, Shoshana.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing good this evening. I want to get right into this because a lot of people don't know much about court reporting. And when you think about it, I just think typing is associated with it, and I'm not the best typer. So my first question is, how did you get into the field, and what drew you into wanting to do this?
So I got into court reporting because I used to manage a fitness center, and one of my employees who worked part-time was actually a court reporter. And we were talking a lot about English, and I have a passion for English. And so she told me that I should look into it. And it took me about 10 years before I finally decided to make that change. And it has probably been the best decision that I have ever made.
Nice. So are there a lot of males in this field as well?
There are actually. For some reason, people think there aren't any men in the field, but there are actually a lot of men that are court reporters. So it's not, limited to just women or limited to just older people or anything. There's a wide age range. There's so many different things that you can do as a court reporter. Court reporters do closed captioning. We do what's called CART, which is where we can go to classes with people who are hearing impaired, and while the professor is lecturing, we're actually doing what we call a takedown, and the person can read the lecture, so that way they're still a part of the class and still know what's going on in the during the lecture.
That was something that I didn't know. I didn't really ever think about how the words got on the TV screen for closed captioning. I just thought it was just some technology that did it. But that's actually people who are trained in court reporting actually doing those closed captioning on the TV screen.
Yes, it is. So as you mentioned, there are a lot of people think you have to do a lot of typing. But that's going to be if you're more of a stenographer. I am not a stenographer. I'm actually a voice writer. So I'm going to hold up what I use. You can kind of, I think I'm out of the. So I use this mask and I literally cover my face with it and I'm talking into it. So I'm actually talking in a shorthand. So it's a lot quicker to learn than regular stenography. When you learn stenography, you have to learn how to do shorthand. So you pretty much are starting from learning a brand new language. Whereas if you're a voice writer like me, it's much quicker because you're not learning anything new, really. You're just repeating the words that are being said.
Okay, because that was what I was about to ask. Do I have to be a good typer to do this? Because their machines in the actual courtroom look a little different.
They're a lot different than a regular typewriter, and I honestly do not know how to use one. Like I said, I'm a voice writer, so I talk into my mask. This is my best friend, and that's how I get the words to come up on the screen.
Okay.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, is he?
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I said, so what does the money look like for this field? And does it vary based on your court experience or the types of court that you're in?
So it can vary for a lot of different things. It varies by the area. I am in Georgia. I did look up what the starting rate was in the Maryland, D.C. area, and the starting salary is around $95,000. But it also then does depend on whether you're an official. That would be what an official makes. So an official is someone who actually goes to court and is on staff with the county, or up there's going to be a lot more federal cases than we have down here. So it would be the person who is literally on staff with a particular judge in a county. I do what's called freelance. So we do more depositions, and it kind of depends on how much you work. So if I don't work, I don't get paid. So the good thing about freelancing and doing depositions is, honestly, my days probably start at 10, and I'm usually done with the deposition by normally at the latest about 1 o'clock. And so I have the whole rest of my day. And I get to work on transcripts. I take naps. I take a lot of naps. So it's you have a lot more free time freelancing, but you do have to work a little bit harder to get to a 6-figure salary if that's what you're looking for.
Okay. Now, you don't need a 4-year degree, but you do need training. So what does that training look like?
So there are a few different court reporting schools. Most of them have online programs. With their programs, they usually have a fast track program, which is going to be more voice writing, which is what I do. Usually the voice writing program is going to be 2 to 3 years. And the steno programs are a little bit longer because it's a lot harder to learn steno. So it may take you, I think they usually average about 5 years with the steno program. You also can find individuals that will teach you. I went to a reporting school. However, my school closed down. I was one of the last people to graduate from my particular school. But there are individuals that will mentor you and teach you everything that you need to know as far as court reporting goes. You have to be certified. So I hold 2 certifications. I am a certified court reporter for the state of Georgia, but then I'm also a certified verbatim reporter, which is a national certification. So technically, I can be a court reporter anywhere in the country. I can also do court reporting in other countries. So for instance, in the Virgin Islands, they have jobs listed right now, and I could apply for those jobs and go work in the Virgin Islands.
Nice, nice. So, yeah, as you're talking about jobs in the Virgin Islands, also thinking about those working from home jobs. COVID introduced a lot of at home positions and ability to kind of remotely work. So, how does remote work look for your job, and is that something that can be done from home?
It's definitely something that can be done from home. It depends on the court and the judge. So there are some judges that are still only working through Zoom. So then the court reporter would also be through Zoom. There are some judges who require the court clerks and the court reporters to come in, but they have the witnesses and the lawyers through Zoom. So it kind of varies. With me, because I am only doing depositions, I only do remote depositions. When you're doing depositions, you're in a closer proximity to the witnesses. So to keep myself safe, I have chosen not to do anything in person. So there's definitely options. It just depends on, who you're working for, what type of work you're doing. My particular firm that I work for, they are on board with me completely being remote. So I haven't touched a courtroom in a long time.
Okay, well, thank you, Shoshana. Her information is on the screen if you have any other questions about how to become a court reporter, or if you need some mentoring, I'm sure she will be happy to mentor you as well.
Yes, and I can also help get you in touch with someone in your area if you are interested in learning some more about court reporting. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right, now we're going to bring in Tommy again for our entrepreneurs. We've been waiting to hear all about your business, Tommy, so I'm glad you have a better connection.
Oh, thank goodness. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah. But thank you for having me, though.
So you own two businesses. So tell me first about your first business which is pest control, and tell us how you made that decision, because you went to college too.
Yeah. I got a degree in computer science, but never actually used it. Got out of school, and pest control was actually paying more than computer science. I'm a lot older than everybody probably on this panel. But it's easy to get into. You don't have to have no college degree. You do got to have a high school degree, diploma, and a clean driving record, and you can get into pest control. Pretty simple. 1 year on the job training, and you can get your own license and get started. So it's pretty easy.
So you own a pest control business here in you own a pest control business. I'm sorry. Tell us how you made the decision to get into pest control. How you made that transition.
Well, I have a father and two uncles that did pest control. Probably combined about 140 years between all three of them. So it was kind of easy for me to get into that. But I started my business in '98. So it's been going pretty good. I've worked everywhere from White House during the Obama administration, worked taking care of Al Gore's house for 6 years while he was vice president. So, but you got to be good customer service for any young kids listening to this. You got to be friendly, well-mannered.
And you also can't be faint of heart. You can't be a punk to be in the pest control business. So what's some of the animals and insects that you've encountered that
Well, I encounter everything, but first test that normally any pest control company will do is take you down in DC, Georgetown mostly, and where all the rats at, and leave you outside and see if you can handle the pressure of having rats run around you. If you can't deal with that, then you probably can't deal with pest control. But you deal with rats, bats, raccoons, groundhogs, snakes. I picked up a snake yesterday at somebody's house in their basement. So you got to be able to, can't be afraid of too much if you're going to do pest control. It's rewarding, and it's always something that you can keep busy even during COVID. Didn't didn't stop a beat because people still need to get rid of whatever they might have, mice, roaches, ants. So
Now, what type of training do you have to go through? Is there a school, or does a pest control company just train you on the job? Because I'm thinking you have to know about like termites and which bees or what. So, I mean, is there a school that you go to for that?
no school. Once you get out of high school and you're over 18 and got a driving license, you basically go work at a pest control company. Um, and after 1 year, you can get your own license. But it's on the job training, no school or anything required. Just got to keep a clean driving record, and no drugs. I will say, because they will drug test you. So, you know, uh, that is something that won't fly on the pest control, because you got to go into people's houses, commercials, residential houses. So yeah, no drinking and no drugs on the job. So
All right. Would you suggest working for a pest control company first, as you just were saying, and then branching out to start your own? So what does that first year look like, being under another company?
well, the first year you kind of shadow someone for probably about 60 days. Then they give you your own truck, let you go out on your own, give you a certain amount of stops. The more motivated you are to make money and put in more hours, then you could. I mean, it could be pretty rewarding. Starting out first year, you can make about 80. If you want to put some overtime in, you can. Most guys make about six figures. If you want to, if you want to work instead of working a regular 8 hour day, if you want to work like 12, 14 hours, you can make about 100 your first year. So it just depends on if somebody wants to be a go getter or not. But that's all you need is just like I said, first year and a clean driving record, working for a company. Then you take a test. Test is called a core test and a rodent test. So rats is always important in a DMV. So you gotta know which rats are that climbs on roof rats. Norway rats are the ones on the ground. So roof rats can go as high as 8 floors up. They have babies every 21 days, 6 times a year, 8 to 12 babies at a time. So you got to know that's one of the tests you have to pass before you get a license.
Now, is this test like a county test or a city test? Like, how do you get certified and the license to do this?
Well, when you take the core test and the rodent test and you pass them, then you can just transfer it to any other city that you move to or wherever you work at. If you go work in Atlanta, just transfer it from Maryland to Atlanta. If you want to do, I got licensed in Maryland, DC, Virginia, and Pennsylvania, and Delaware actually. So if I wanted to go, cross line, I could still do work in other cities, other states.
Okay.
Excellent. So not only does this give you an opportunity to travel and explore different places and all these different kinds of animals that climb on roofs, and I never heard no roof rat.
Or roofs.
Yeah. In Baltimore, I've seen a lot of rats, but I ain't never seen them on the roof. I see them on the roof. So
Yeah, well, roof rats. If you remember the Popeyes video with the rats and they ran straight up, that's what roof rats do. In the video with
the
Popeyes,
movie. I thought that was make.
no, that wasn't make believe. No, when they get in between the walls, they climb upward instead of going down.
Wow, see, that's wild. So as you being able to travel and explore these different places with all these different creatures, you're expanding your business as well. So can you just speak on how that's possible? Also, once you're after that first year and you get moving, you got your own thing. You say year 2, I want to open up another location, or I want to open up another spot in another city or another state. How does that look?
Well, the one good thing about pest control, you can run it out of your house. You don't have to get an office. So if you can subcontract it in another state and still reap the rewards from it. I can open up a MTB in another state and give somebody a truck and they can run it and they still be under my name, still get benefits from it. So you don't need no office space. Just get the vehicle and the chemicals, and that's it. Your hardest thing will do is getting employees. I mean, customers, I should say, not employees. Customers are the hardest thing to get because There's so much competition. It's over 1,300 companies in between Richmond to Baltimore to Frederick. 1,300 pest control companies, and I still been in business since '98. So yeah, so it's so it's not so it's pretty easy to do, but you just got to be serious about it. But if any young kids, I've tried to take young kids out before, but they just can't handle the rodent test.
So you do offer like internships, or at least for any high school students or even adults who would be interested in trying to go out, you're willing to take them out and see.
Oh I've done it before in the past, but when they know they see a rat, and if it's on a trap and you got to kill it, I let them do it. So if they can't do it, if you can't pick up a snake, or if you're afraid of being around hundreds of roaches crawling on you, but you'll never be out of work though, no matter what. You'll never be out of work.
I bet. Now you have another company too, though, which is a cleaning business, and so you do that as well, or do you have employees do that?
I got employees, but I do it also. Office cleaning. I would stay away from residential, even though it's consistent. But I will say, residential people are a little bit picky compared to office. And plus, office people, if you got a place in a high income area like Washington D.C. or Tyson's Corner, you can make good money charging and not do as much work compared to residential. And it's real easy to get into the cleaning field too. You just need insurance. You don't have to go to school for it. You can also get into a franchise. There's a lot of franchises out there. Anago, Janiking, you can get into that and get into the cleaning business, and they'll actually get the contracts for you. You can get started that way too.
Nice. And you also got to, it's definitely a skill in cleaning, because my children's definition of cleaning is definitely not clean. So there's definitely some standards and a skill there. But when you're hiring somebody, so you're looking into getting into the business. If I'm looking into getting into the cleaning business, you said that I can talk to these different companies, and they have subcontracts and help get it. What is someone looking at making at if they're actually doing the cleanings? Like you're saying, you're doing the cleaning, you're also operating the cleaning business.
Well, cleaning wise, it just depends on the area. Like if you're in DC, you can take a full floor building and make between $2,000 and $2,500 a month just off that one building, for example. But if you're in Maryland, I hate to say, you ain't gonna make the same amount of money. That's just the way it is. DC pays the money, Virginia pays the money. If you're in Maryland, like Laurel or somewhere Waldorf, you're not gonna make the same kind of money. So it's just if anybody wants to get into the cleaning, concentrate on Virginia and DC areas. If you do Baltimore, downtown Baltimore, anywhere where it's more office buildings, but no warehouses. No, that's too much work. It won't pay well. So, okay. But you can make a lot of money in it. There's a lot of competition in cleaning too, but that's another business that people need, no matter, because right now with COVID, you had to get an actual COVID certificate, and that actually increased the money because you did more sterilizations of businesses, where all the doorknobs, handles, chairs, everything had to be sterilized. So you charge more money. So yeah, I try to get into businesses that's always going to be in need, no matter what the problem is, any situation, market crash, recession, you still got to have it.
Well, thank you, Tommy. And your website is on the screen. So if anybody needs any roof rats taken care of, or any snakes or termites, they know who to get in touch with.
Yep. Yeah. 7 days a week. Anybody want to talk about any questions, reach out to me. I'm always here to help anybody want to get started.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Okay. All right.
All right. We're now going to bring in Jonathan Davis, who has a very important job, especially since we talk about supply chain issues a lot since COVID. So, Jonathan, welcome.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing?
We're doing good.
Already.
Well,
Cool.
tell
All
me
right.
about how you got. Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
All right. Welcome, Jonathan. Tell me about how you got into the truck driving profession and the process of getting your CDL. I know it's very technical, and the driving, I know it can be very technical, and driving can be an entire process. So, how long does it take?
Yeah, so the CDL process is probably, I think it should still be about 240 hours. You get do about 2 weeks classroom time. And during the classroom time, you're going to pretty much be learning the different general knowledge, air brakes, things of that nature. There's going to be a lot of book, uh, uh, getting you prepared to take the test for you to be able to pass the test to get your permit. Also, any endorsements that you might want, because you have like hazmat endorsements, you got doubles and triples, which is basically what you see with the UPS and the FedEx, mainly, and other companies. You also have tankers, which is of course the people that delivers the gas and the fuel and stuff like that. You have all these different endorsements that you can get at that time, which I would suggest anybody get as many as you can get. You don't have to get them all, but as much as you can get in that beginning time for anybody that's interested in getting into truck driving school, get get all of them just to have them, because you never know what direction you may want to go into, and you already have it. You don't have to go back and get it later, but you always can go get it later. So you don't have to rush. You don't have to, cram to get it. If it's a struggle, take your time. It's okay. But that's the first part. The second part would be the road and range. So the road and range training is basically taking you out there and showing you how to operate the vehicle. Now today, is basically in today's time they do a lot of automatics. They don't do manuals as much anymore. But it's good to learn manuals. I came in a time in 2011 when manuals was still the way that you learn. But you can come in and you don't even have to have a manual. You have a restricted CDL, which means you can only operate automatic trucks, but you can still get your foot in the door. And that's no and if you need to get your foot in the door, get your foot in the door. But at the end of the day, it's always good to get as much of the training that you possibly can grab, because it's going to make you an asset across the board. So it's 2 weeks in class, basically, and then it's 2 weeks road and range. So you learn how to bag up, park, things of that nature. Then you actually go off on the road and you go off onto the highways and stuff like that. And you learn how to control that 18-wheeler.
Okay. Now, after you get the CDL, is it then you choose what company you want to work for? Like, how did you make the choice of who you wanted to work for, and what's the salary like? Do you get paid like by the mile, by the load? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so for me, when I did it, I went purely independent route because I wanted to choose what company I wanted to work for. Today, it's a lot more companies that have schools now, so you can actually attend that company's school. Now, when you do that, you're usually obligated, if you will, to a 1 year contract, which if you stay for that year, then obviously your training, your CDL training was, paid for, by that company. They paid for you. And if you break that contract, you possibly have to come out of pocket and pay. Like, say you work for a company for 6 months that you train with to get your CDL, you break that contract 6 months because you say, I'm tired of this company. I want to go to another company. I'm fed up with these people. I don't like this trainer, whatever. Then whatever that fee was in the contract, you have to pay that. So let's say it costs $7,000 to get for school. Then you'll probably have to pay maybe a portion of that or something like that. I'm not sure how that works, but I went through an independent school, a complete independent school, so I can see what company I wanted to go for, and that's how I got started.
And what does the pay look like? Like, how much can you make?
Yeah, so for pay, right now it's really good. So starting out, I think I started out at 52 a year, and that was actually high. That was on the higher end, but that was, it was just by doing due diligence, and I got a salary. I started out with a salary, and I started out local. And a lot of times people say, when you start out, you got to go over the road for a year, et cetera, et cetera. Nope. What happens is just, do the research, and you'll be able to find what it is you want. So I started out at 52. I'm pretty much double that at the moment, at this point. And it ranges now from anywhere, I say, starting out anywhere from 40 to about 70.
Okay.
Nice. Now, that some truck drivers have their own trucks, and I've seen some like these lavish bedrooms in the back part. What are some of the benefits of having your own truck? And what are some of the benefits of like what type of controls do you have? I know you said that you wanted to be able to see all the different aspects of the business. So what types of controls do you have being able to step back and look at the different companies and also having your own truck?
Yeah, so the primary benefit of having your own truck is 100% freedom. Period. Period. It's also, you have 100% the options to call the shots. That's what it's called having your own authority. That's literally what it's actually called, having your own authority. And from there, you're responsible for 100% of everything. So that can be good or bad, depending on how your management skills are and things of that nature, and how you structure your business. So having your own truck is a beautiful thing. And a lot of times, you know, man, you talk about the. I'm bad. I got caught up in them lavish trucks because I like them trucks, man. The different. It's a variety. You have the ones that have the beds and the showers and all that fly stuff in there, man. That stuff is up there, man, and it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, so that's the benefit of having your own truck. But things to consider when you have your own truck, you want to also, and you have your own equipment, whatever it is, you want to also consider, different things about savings, healthcare benefits and stuff like that. So you have to be fully responsible for your retirement, fully responsible for any kind of medical or anything that happens to your vehicle. Anything, you're 100% responsible, but you have 100% freedom as well.
What a benefit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That I would assume if you wanted to become a truck driver that you like to travel because you're going to be doing a lot of driving, especially if you're doing like long range driving. So how do you take a shower if you don't have one of these lavish trucks and you're traveling up and down the highway? Do you just get hotels everywhere you go? Who pays for that? Or like, how do you do that?
Yeah, so usually over the road vehicles that stays out, you have the standard is a day cab, and then you have a sleeper. The sleeper is usually the over the road vehicle. In the sleeper, you have a bed, a standard bed for you to sleep in. You also may have a microwave, a refrigerator, cabinet space, stuff like that. Missing something. You may throw a TV in there or something for comfort, but that's the standard for a sleeper. And then you have different truck stops like Love's, Flying J, TA Petro, and different truck stops that have showers. So usually, once you go there, they require you to fill up your tank over a certain amount of gallons, usually about 50 gallons, and that gives you a credit shower. So you don't have to pay for one, but you have access to a shower over the road. So that's basically how you get through. You have the showers at the truck stops. You make your sleeper as comfortable. Your sleeper berth as comfortable as you can, and you get on out there and you go get it.
Now, how much is the shower if you don't get a fill up?
Yeah, so you pay anywhere between, and everything is at this time being inflated across the board, especially in the transportation industry as well. So showers was at a point $12, so they can run you anywhere from $17 to $20 per shower.
Okay.
Wow.
That's unlimited water.
And it's all hot.
Right.
Right. So it got all of these different amenities, whether you got the lavish truck or you thugging in and got to pay for $20 showers. Who is this job? Who's this job best for? Who would you say like this is the job for you? Is somebody who wants to be alone, somebody who wants to make their own schedule? I know you said you have to be responsible and hold up to your commitments, but who is like this is easy for you if you like to do this?
Yeah, I say the first and foremost is for that kid who seen that truck at whatever age and said, "Man, I want to do that." That's who it's for first and foremost. The kid that just envisioned it,
Nice.
Young age, and if they always had that vision, and they was like, they may have changed their mind, and then went back to it, and if it's something, if it's a burning desire, go for it. That's who it's mainly for first and foremost. After that, it's for people who, wants to, maybe want to see the country, for free, if you will.
Do you
And
think it's for introverts, like people that like to be alone and just because you're kind of by yourself a lot on the road, right?
I would say it's definitely 1,000% for introverts as well. Because you have your own space, and you have your own, like even during the pandemic, for me personally, it didn't affect me like one bit. So a lot of the people that were affected being closed in or whatever, like I probably didn't miss too many beats. I probably just couldn't go into the certain food places that I wanted to go to and stuff like that. So it was a little bit awkward in that sense. But as far as the open roads, I mean, everything was open. I mean, it's you talk about, Philly, DC, Houston, LA, any traffic, it was wide open at that time. So that was a beautiful thing. So it's definitely for introverts as well. Yeah.
And what other career paths can you take in the transportation industry?
Yeah, so transportation is huge. Like, you have the big rigs, but along with that, you also have like, box trucks, which is 26 footers, which if you just envision a U-Haul, like the big U-Haul truck, if you will, something like that, which carries half of what a big rig would take. So if a big rig can take 24 pallets, standard size pallets, 48 by 48 by 48 in inches, right? That's 48 length, 48 width, 48 height. And they can carry 24 of those. Then the 26 footer box truck carry half of that, which will carry 12. So it'll be half the money sometimes, right? But it could be the full amount. So that's another level. You also have cargo vans. You also have sprinter vans. And that. So those are all kind of like more transportation-ish. I mean, so I say that because you can also go into other areas of transportation as well. So because transportation is just wide open, it's not just one thing. You can also, if you're not really interested in driving, you can also do what is called dispatch or brokering. So I have a dispatch company as well. So I dispatch up to 5 different vehicles along with working a 9 to 5 as well, and that can be very lucrative. In the way, and with that, like I have an account where that one account, that averages about a gross of one account averages a gross about 4,000 a week. So that's about 16,000 a month gross. Now I'm not, and so with being a dispatcher, you get a percentage of that. And a dispatcher, the overhead is not that huge. So that's another way that you can get started, in transportation as well, is dispatching. If you
Dispatch, you don't leave the house.
Yeah, dispatch, you can, you don't have to leave the house, and
So,
or if you can dispatch from remotely from wherever you at.
wow. Okay. Well, we definitely really appreciate you and giving that inspiration to the kid who's seen that big truck and he wants to go ahead and get on that big truck and go across the road. We appreciate you. Has any last words in pursuing this in this business, whether you dispatching and not leaving the house or you driving across the country?
Yeah, man, just go after it. Hurry up and fail. That's why I tell anybody, hurry up and fail. because then you'll know what you need to do to succeed sooner.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Already. Y'all have a good one.
You do the same. Appreciate you.
All right, now we are going to bring in Mr. Haney. And Mr. Haney, I wanted you to come in kind of last because you have the ticket to getting most of these professions going, if this is something you're interested in. So good evening. We saved the best for last because you're the key to everything.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Sorry about that. I'm trying to scroll T. Mr. Haney, what programs does Anne Arundel Community College have that are career path programs? And are they similar to other community colleges in the state?
So I work in the continuing education department. So we do a lot of job training programs. So there are other community colleges across the state. They do have some of the same programs that we do, but I would say I don't want to be biased and say that ours are better, but they're better. But like some of the programs, like it depends on the field that you want to be in. So if you we have a partnership with Maryland Live. So if you want to learn how to do table games, so we have classes for that. If you want to do childcare, like if you want to do working in a daycare and you needed like those 90 hours that you need to do that, we have classes for that. I know a gentleman earlier talked about a little bit about CompTIA A plus. So we have an A plus certification program as well. That's one of our a job program that we have. We have programs in the medical field such as certified nursing assistant, dental assisting, medical assisting, vet assisting. We also have trades such as electrical. We have HVAC. Um, Carpentry, they go on and on. And a lot of our programs are they're short term, like I said, they're short term programs. So they're about 3 months. Some are 3 months. The medical program, those are ones that are about 6 months. I would say the good thing about our programs is that we teach our students to be a total employee. So they're going to get those skills for that particular, say it's a trade or say it's in healthcare. They'll get lab time for if they're trying to be a dental assistant, if they're trying to be an electrician, they're going to get in hand. They're going to get their hands on working in a lab, working in the shop, doing those things. But then we also have what's called a workforce success skills portion to our program. And what that does is that gives them resume writing skills. So we may have students who may be coming right out of high school, or we may have people who are transitioning from another job. They say, you know what, I work this corporate thing. I kind of like being hands-on more. So, but so what happens is they may not necessarily have the skills or they may not necessarily have the experience for that particular job. But what we do with our workforce class is we help to prepare a resume that shows that they have that skill set to be able to do those jobs. So even if you don't necessarily have the experience, you may have that skill set. So we help you prepare a resume that shows that. We also do mock interviews, so you get a chance to get comfortable and interview with the person. And we give feedback on good questions on the questions that they ask, how they answer the questions. We also do give them like real life scenario situations that happen in jobs. So we have like kind of like a conflict management type of thing that goes along with it, and give them situations of how would you deal with this in the if you were in the workplace. And so we don't just concentrate on like I said the hands-on skills, but we give you all those skills that are going to make you a total and complete employee. And a lot of the businesses that we work with in the area, they really like our students because a lot of places don't give them that workforce, what we call workforce success skills, that training that's going to make them become, like I said, a total employee.
Okay. Now the programs that you were talking about just now, do they have separate requirements for entering the program, or anyone out of high school can join any one of the programs that you talked about?
Yeah, so anybody right out of high school, you can join any program. You say, hey, I want to be a medical assistant. All you have to do is register. You don't have to like get me a transcript. You don't have to do any of those things like that. All you have to do is fill out the application and pay your money. Now, and that's the thing about our program. They're not going to cost it's not going to put you in debt or anything like that. But we also have scholarship opportunities for our students. So we have what's called a continuing education and workforce development scholarship, and what that does, it covers at least 75% of the of your tuition and fees. But we try to cover the whole thing. All right. So, but the thing is, you got to fill out the application and you have to answer a couple of questions. And that's where the drawback is that people they don't want to answer a few questions, and they're leaving free money on the table. Like it's there for you. You're trying to give it to you. We're trying to pay for the entire thing for you, but people are taking advantage of that. Like I said, it's we try to pay the whole thing, but if we're unable to pay the whole thing, at minimum it's going to cover 75%. That's across the board, and you're almost 99% guaranteed to get a scholarship. The only reason you wouldn't get a scholarship is if you just when you have the scholarship interview, you just didn't really know what you wanted to do, and you were just like, oh, you had no, if you didn't, we don't want to waste the money. We want to give it away, but at the same time, we don't want to waste it. So if you're showing that you don't really know what you want to do, you have no real, idea of which way you want to go, then that might cause you not to get the scholarship.
Gotcha. So if you're thinking about going into the scholarships and trying to figure out which program for those students that may be more whimsical and want to say I'm looking at trying to figure this out, but I'm not 100% sure. What are some things that they should say, or what are some questions maybe they should ask during that scholarship interview so that they don't seem like they're disinterested or not prepared, but they are a young, interested student that's trying to figure out what direction they want to go in?
Well, I would say before they even got to the scholarship portion of it. So what they have to do is like say they're interested in the program, they have to sign up for what we call information sessions. And they're all virtually done via Zoom, and and they would our team, we would do an info session for that particular program, and then we run down the what the program is, how much it costs, the time length, all the different resources that are available, because they have, even though we're on the continuing education side, they still have access to all of the resources that are available, even if they were a credit seeking student. So, we would talk to them about that. And then, at the end, we ask questions like, hey, do you know, any question, and they say, well, I'm not sure about this. And, then we kind of like direct, we just have a conversation about, the different things that they might want to do, how they might go about it. And then we also we worked with a job. We work with Anne Arundel Workforce Development Corporation, and what they do is they help to help find employment for students for people that are in Anne Arundel County. And what we do sometimes is we push them towards, they have like a career where they, not a career aptitude, kind of like a career aptitude thing where they will fill out some questions and say, oh, you might be interested in, these 3 jobs. And then we have a conversation from there, and then we kind of direct them to where they might want to go from there.
Got you. So what I'm getting is that we gotta definitely make sure that we are asking the right questions and just continuously asking questions, and also answering questions and filling out forms, so we're not leaving
absolutely
money on the table with these scholarships.
Don't leave that money on the table. It's that we try. I'm calling people like, hey, I see you. You sign up for my programs, and you paying out of pocket. We got a scholarship. This. I'm like, I send them So like we said, when we have the information sessions. So like, say if they were interested in one of my programs, like I send them out all the information that they need. I send out the links to the scholarships. I send them out the registration form so that they can fill it out. And then I'm checking in with them, until they get enrolled. And once they get enrolled, my role is to still talk to these students. I check in with them at least like once a week. Like I'll either send them like a video message on Canvas, say, hey, how's everything going? I have access to their grades and stuff like that, so I can see that. And then, if they're missing class, I'll be like, hey, what's going on? Are you missing? So it's in my position, my job, I do a lot of talking, a lot of communicating with them to make sure that once they get in, that they're going to be successful.
Now, you said that you weren't trying to be biased, but your school was the best in the state. So for people that aren't located in Anne Arundel County, are some of the programs or classes online, or do they have to come there?
Yeah, so even though you're not in Anne Arundel County, you can still come to school. You can still come to our come to school, and it would just the only cost would just be a $10 more cost like per course. All right, so that's the difference. So if you're out of county, but yeah, so how the program, depending on the program, some programs are a hybrid where you have online component and then you have the in person. Some might be completely online. It all kind of depends on which program that you're involved in. Of course, with the trades, you're going to be you're going to be part of that's in person and part of that is online. With our medical programs, all of those are have at some point are you have to come to either the main campus, which is in Arnold, or you may have to go to Glen Burnie, the Glen Burnie Town Center campus. And we also have in Arundel Mills, there's a satellite campus there as well. So like I said, depending on the program, you may not have to come out to Arnold, which is like near Annapolis. So it could be, it all kind of depends.
Excellent. And just another. So if I come to one of these programs and I'm in the door and I'm working, are there opportunities to further those chances? So if I get my feet wet in the medical assistant and I want to pursue more, I want to go to college and get some credits for that. Is that something that is also available there?
So we do have so I know with which program is it? I know we have so for the A+ computer repair program. So I know if you do that program and then you come back and there's some other cyber courses that you can take. You can take from what some of the you can take. Um, they'll use some of the credit that you have towards you going getting your associates. So it all kind of depends. I know that they're working on some of the other programs that we have where you can where you can go into get your associates. But a lot of the like the medical ones, like we have like the CNA, like we'll have people who do CNA, and that's kind of like the first level in that nursing field. And then after they've done the CNA, then they'll get what's called a GNA, and then from there they'll come back and take what's called the medical assistant one, and then there's one that's called central sterile processing, and that's the one any doctor's office, any surgery that you go to, the equipment, those are the people who clean those things, prepare them to make sure that they are sterile, ready for you to be performed. So there's times where people will come and take one program and then come back and do another one and keep moving up like that.
And do you help with finding a job after the program is complete?
Yes. So we've had this initiative where we've been meeting with different employers in the area, and especially like in the trades with what I'm doing is like we just opened up a new our new where they have classes, our trade center. We just opened that up. We've been meeting a lot with a lot of different companies in the area, bringing them into the building, seeing the building, and making contacts with them. We also work with this company called Independent Electrical Contractors, Chesapeake Shore. They're located in Laurel, and that's where we were doing a lot of our classes before. And they have, so we have. I know I do some of the reaching out to different employers, and I bring them in during the classes. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll either, they'll talk to them about the company, they'll talk to them about the field, kind of give them like a day in the life type of thing. And then, they have opportunities that are out there, and then they'll talk to them about opportunities for that particular company. So yeah, we definitely try to help them with job placement.
Excellent.
Well, thank you, Lamont. And
Thank
your
you.
information is on the screen if anyone wants to get in touch with you to find out more information about the programs that are at Anne Arundel Community College. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm here to help as any way that I can.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Please, appreciate you.
I wanted to bring in Devin, but I can't see his camera, so I'm not sure if he's ready.
Yeah, I'm also trying to contact on the other end. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that.
Hi, Devin.
How are you?
You're now in the hot seat, and you're in the last seat, and you're an electrician.
I'm an electrician. Yep. In the hot seat. Perfect for me, right?
Yeah, so I know a little bit about how to become an electrician, but the only part that I know is that you have to go through an apprenticeship program. But so tell me about the path to become an electrician.
Well, the path you can go two ways actually. Here in Maryland, you can either go through an apprenticeship, which will give you working school hours, and then also it'll give you hands-on experience also. After you graduate from the schooling part of it, you'll go straight into hands-on work pretty much, or you could just go straight into electrical work if you know someone pretty much. Me myself, I went through trade school out in California and did that. And I started working as an electrical maintenance technician for an industrial warehouse. My path is like taking me pretty much all across the board for electrical work, and that includes commercial, industrial, residential, solar energy, pretty much you name it.
Is this something that you can start to learn before you graduate high school, or can you only start after high school?
No, actually, depending on what high school you go to, some high schools do offer trade programs. I have a friend in Pennsylvania. Her high school actually offered an electrician program, a nursing program, and all of that. So people who went through the electrician program, they actually graduated from high school, but with their electrician degree, and then they were able to start straight from there.
Nice. So, what type of background information and knowledge should you have to enter the electrician field? Like, do you need to be real good at math and science? Like, what?
Not so much of science. You want to have like basic common working knowledge of hand tools. You got to be able to read and write, of course. You got to be able to read the diagrams and understand that what each symbol is going to be. As far as math does come into play. For an electrician, it comes into play more so once you get closer to becoming a journeyman. And of course, once you become a master also. But when you're starting out, you're pretty much just out in the field, just learning about it.
Okay, so a lot of on-the-job training.
A lot of on-the-job training. If you want to go straight through and just work through, you need 8,000 hours just to get your journeyman's, just to have the requirements for your journeyman's test.
So you said you went to trade school. So did they help you find an apprenticeship? And like, how do you find one that fits you? Do you have to go to a certain company?
No, it's just like a regular job. You know, you can go and apply for this company or that company, see what they're offering, and if you like it, you can go right ahead and apply for the job and go for that apprenticeship if you want. As far as trade school, they did help me out. I graduated with a diploma for an electrician, basically saying that I know the basic knowledge of what it takes to be an electrician. That did help me out with the trade school itself, because the counselors there, they actually hook you up with jobs in the area or in the surrounding cities also. That's where they actually helped me get the job as the electrical maintenance technician. The job that they got me with, I started out as a wireman and I changed over departments into maintenance.
Thanks. So, how do you get your electrician's license? Like, is there an exam? And if it is, how hard? I know you said that you got to have 8,000 hours, right?
8,000 hours.
Okay,
8,000
so
working hours.
yeah. So what is that? What is that? Is there an exam after you get those hours? And also, how much does that cost? Like, how much does it cost to get into it?
Cost is about $350 depending on the state. Each state varies, I believe. As far as the test goes, it's an open book exam. They pretty much just want to see how much you know about coding, general codes, pretty much. So you can go through the book that they provide for you, and you just have to go through the test. This question might ask, what's the general height of an electrical plug has to be from the ground? Give you multiple choice, and it would just ask you to cite where inside the book that code is.
Okay.
Pass it. you get your journeyman. After that, you work under a master's and you get more hours, and then you become a master electrician if you take that test. But that test is more mathematical.
Yeah. Okay, well, I want to get deep into the mathematical. How much can I make becoming an electrician? Like, do you suggest becoming a freelance and being an entrepreneur on your own, or working for a company?
Definitely freelance is going to get you more money. I believe anywhere you go. As far as working for a company, starting out, journeyman electricians are making anywhere between $31 to $41 an hour, and that's nationwide. I believe that's like the average. As far as me starting out the way I did, I started out with $14.50 when the average pay was like $8.75, I believe, or $9 or something like that. So still a little bit above average, but it was manageable and it was a good pay.
Okay.
So, how do you become a master electrician? I know you said that the test is a lot more mathematical. Like, what are those steps? What is a certain, like, you got to spend 4 years in the dojo to become a master electrician? What do you got to do?
Sounds good to be in a dojo, but no. Master electrician, basically it's the same process as going through your regular apprenticeship to become a journeyman. Hours, no schooling is required. You're going to have to provide proof that you've done the hours also for both apprenticeship level and for journeyman going to masters. By that, you just have to prove that you were working with a master if you're a journeyman electrician, or if you're an apprentice, show that you were working under a journeyman electrician or master.
Okay. Any parting words that you have for us on anyone want to become an electrician after high school?
Anyone wants to become an electrician, the job can literally take you anywhere in the world. As far as trades go, I believe most trades can get you anywhere. The pay is phenomenal. Sorry. And just to leave off with one more thing, electricians are able to make 6 figures a year without even having to work overtime, and that's a nationwide fact also. So there's something to think about.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, on behalf of Nomad Graduate Chapter of Group 5 Group Social Fellowship Incorporated,
and on behalf of Potomac Graduate Chapter of Swing by Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated, we thank you for attending tonight. Please look on YouTube under Potomac Grab's YouTube page for the recording if you need to go back and watch it, or if you want to share it. And we will
share it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll see you, and we'll pick up our series of our HBCU tour in the fall, and we look forward to seeing you in September. Good night, everybody.